Hey guys, this week we have been talking about life out west, why people would move out west, the different struggles and obstacles that they faced, and the different kind of markets and industry that came about, such as gold mining, people that opened up stores, and we also have talked a little bit about the railroad, which we're going to talk about more as we get further into the year. But something that I want to talk to you about today is going to be cattle ranching, the cattle industry. We've touched on this a little bit, but the cattle industry is going to become a huge deal at this time period because there's so much open land and opportunity for people to, raise cattle and have land for them to roam around and eat and not be interrupted by, a lot of people and buildings. So the cattle industry is going to grow tremendously, as I said. Some other things from this time period are going to be the invention of barbed wire fencing. They never really had a need for that until the cattle industry became so big, because now they need a way to keep the cattle in one area, keep them from roaming, maybe being separated by the railroad, going onto someone else's property, just wandering around and getting lost. I also mentioned in class that they're going to start putting their mark on the animals or their particular brand to know. If you see a cow, you can notice on the back of its body it'll have a marking, and that shows you which farm that it belongs to. Now we usually see it where they have it on their ear, like a tag on their ear. So still both types are used today, but at that time period it was mostly branding. They would have a piece of metal, they would get it scorching hot, and then they would use that to mark the animal so that it could be identified for where it came from, what farm it belonged to. So something interesting. We're also going to be learning about just different inventions from this time period. Specifically, dealing with the cattle industry is going to be the refrigerated train car. Before they have that, they can't really send their meat from the Midwest back to the Northeast or wherever they're sending the meat, because it would go bad. It would spoil before it got there. So the refrigerated train car is something very interesting that they, that happens at this time period, which allows them to move the beef, and it helps the beef industry grow, and people in the North can now get a taste of beef more easily. So that's going to be exciting. We're also going to learn about things like the Pullman Palace car, which is going to be like a nice luxury train car that is going to help transport people back and forth, especially after the Transcontinental Railroad is finished. It's going to just be a big deal to transport people and goods back and forth from the east to the west. So very interesting, very intricate. Many goods are still traveled across or still shipped across the country via train. So you might not think it's that important, especially living down here. We don't really see trains that often, and we definitely don't ride them down here that often. But hopefully soon we will, with Governor Ivey's working towards bringing the train back down here, the Amtrak, and it would go with Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and that would be something really nice. You guys would hopefully get to experience that. And if you've been to, larger cities or cities in the Northeast specifically, maybe they have a lot of train transportation just for daily. People will go to the train station and ride a train into the city. Say in, Pennsylvania, they'll go in Philadelphia and they'll ride a train into the actual city because parking is very limited. So trains are still a big part of our society today. We might not realize it as much living down here, but they're definitely a big part of the country. So we're going to be learning about all of those things, and like I said, the Transcontinental Railroad will be a very big deal. So stay tuned to learn more about the West and new inventions from this time period.